Hello, everyone. Welcome to DDOCast, episode 632, recorded on Saturday, March 20th, 2021. I'm your temporary host for the weekend, Cordovan, Mock Duck, Jerry. It's been a while since I've hosted DDOcast, but Patrick had a weekend away and couldn't make it and asked if I would be able to fill in. I was happy to do so. It is great to be here again with everybody as we celebrate our 15th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons Online. Yeah, it's been, in my case, a little more than 14 years since we did the whole DDOcast thing, and I started playing myself in June of 2006, so not quite my personal 15th anniversary yet, but getting there pretty quick. I've got a couple of guests with me this week. First off, I want to say hello to my girlfriend, Evennote. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing.
And you play DDO too. Everyone knows you from DDO stream and such as well. So.
I wouldn't say everyone knows me, but I've been playing since about 2010.
All right, and you are doing the streaming on twitch.tv/koboldeven.
That is correct.
We are also having someone doing the streaming, and that would be at twitch.tv/Bonniebew. Welcome, Bonniebew. How you doing?
Hi, great. It's good
Yep.
to be here.
All right. So, let me just kind of kick it open to everyone here. What have you been doing recently in DDO?
I'll go first.
Sure. Yep.
I've been playing on servers that aren't my home servers. I've been getting some playing in on the Orion server and now Sarlona. I did a 5,000K run on Orion as kind of a memorial for a friend of all of ours named Volgren, who passed in November of 2020 of cancer. And it was something he used to really like to do, to get the +5 tomes at that 5,000 mark. So I thought, as a way to remember him and to grieve, I would do one on my own on his home server. So I've been doing that for 3 months and just wrapped it up last weekend.
Nice, pretty
So then I
good.
thought I'd go over to Sarlona's server and play with some other friends of ours, with Grim and Rach, who play on Sarlona.
Nice. Last I played with them was when they were doing a lot of work with the Defense Guild. I had a character in Defense Guild for a while. Recent years have kind of kept me off Sarlona in favor of Thelanis instead, where I've kind of got a home group and guild now that I'm running with. But yeah, those two are really good. They tended to leave me in the dust more often than not when I was running with them.
Me today.
Yeah, they're very good. How about you, Even? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been screwing up epic TRs and epic TRing iconic tunes and then not forgetting that I can't then immediately heroic TR them because, and been running with the guild on Solanas, doing some cool things, got some new people, doing some raids, so that's been really fun. I'm really enjoying the new raid.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not good at it, but I'm enjoying it.
I love the new raid. It's super good. Have you had a chance to run it, Bonnie?
I haven't got a chance to run it, but I've only heard good things about it.
You will love it, in particular because I happen to know that you like musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a musical of sorts. Mm-hmm. So it's also fairly easy. I mean, well, maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm being too flippant by calling it a relatively easy raid. On normal, like when you're going in with the goal of not really challenging yourself, but just getting through the raid for funsies, I have found the ability to do that, even with a slightly smaller than normal group on normal, to be pretty doable. Now, my guild isn't really 2 or 3 personing it, but I've seen people do that. So I think if you want to kick it down to the easiest difficulty, it's fairly accessible compared to some of our more recent raids there. So.
That sounds like what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
My guildmates on Canna, they seem to be enjoying themselves a lot more than they do when a brand new raid comes out and it's really tricky and technical.
Yep. Now, would I recommend you then go into Too Hot to Handle? Probably not. But you can do you can do Demon and Demigod and the Dryad and the Demigod. But otherwise, so that's I guess what we've been up to here. I would just mention we're just going to go through the latest DDO news here today, and then this show will eventually be added with Patrick's discussion based on the topic at hand that he's working on. Last I saw was a review of the update, so I suspect that may be done. But we'll see what he's got going then in next week. We do have double daily dice XP through the weekend here. That gives you the trick on the trick on double XP is that you there's no way we can ever say it that doesn't cause confusion that I've determined that you can say within a few words. If I say double daily dice, people expect that they might be able to do it twice. That's not the case. It gives you twice the amount of XP on the daily dice rolls. But when I use the phrase double daily dice XP, people think they're going to get 2 stones instead of 1. And if I just say double daily dice XP reward, that's a little more clear, but then that also isn't clear enough and it gets weird. And so the actual answer is double daily dice XP awarded through your regular daily dice roll. Or maybe double the amount of daily dice XP from your roll through March 21st is probably the easiest way to say that. But for whatever reason over the years, it keeps on getting occasional hits to customer service about where's my double daily dice they promised, So there you go. Otherwise,
roll your dice, get twice the XP.
That's not bad. Roll dice, get twice the XP. Yeah, but see, that's the problem. Like, get twice the XP. What do you mean by that? Does that mean I get 2 100 chunks? Right. So, otherwise, I would just say really the main bit of news is that this Wednesday I had the opportunity to announce that the next season of the Hardcore League starts on March 31st, and it's going to run through June 29th. And that's a Tuesday, basically being shut off on the regular Wednesday morning downtime, that the last Wednesday of June the 30th. And that's going to be our 4th season of Hardcore. We mentioned in the producer's letter that is Dalkir focused, in the way that one was Eretrikos focused, and that sort of thing. So, I don't want to say Mind Flayer focused, but at the same time, it is very Mind Flayer supportive. So in terms of the cosmetics and things that we haven't really had an opportunity to debut visually to you yet, they're still in the kind of final touches of marketing approvals and what have you. But you can really kind of think more Mind Flayer-y looking things this year in terms of the rewards that you would be getting. And that's going to be happening March 31st. So not this next week, but the week after. So let me ask you, Bonnie, first, if that's all right. Do you run Hardcore? Have you run Hardcore? Will you run Hardcore?
I hope my mic still works. But I ran the first Hardcore season.
Yeah.
And learned my limitations.
Yep.
I think sometimes I would get a little bit complacent, and as soon as you get complacent, you get killed in Hardcore. But it was a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that playing on servers that I don't have all the bells and whistles on has been like training for Hardcore.
That's true. It is good training.
Go this upcoming season and see if I have more success.
I recently ran, for recent months, I've been doing this kind of Chronicles of Armagh project on my regular Wednesday streams to really kind of do what you're talking about, which is bring up a character who was in a old crusty place because I haven't played on that server or that character in a long time, and just sort of bring them up to 2021 standards a little bit. And you really realize just how much that historical time spent on a server matters when you try to do something like that.
Right.
Yeah. How about you, Even? What do you? I know that you've done some hardcore running with me. What are your hardcore plans?
Well, if there's a cosmetic pet, I'm going to want the cosmetic pet. I didn't really get a chance to participate much in Hardcore 3 just because of real life stuff going on.
Yeah.
I did pretty well in Hardcore 1, got to 20 in Hardcore 2, and then died in a favored run. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Now, I'm not saying you might have died thanks to my ignorance and terrible gameplay, but I certainly have been. I pose an interesting challenge to the guildmates that I run with. Yeah. I encourage strong gameplay on the part of my teammates who need to work extra hard to survive for some reason when I'm in the party with them.
Yeah, if anyone is planning on running hardcore with Jerry, don't stand in the path of a trap that only triggers when a door opens if he's anywhere near the door.
Good idea. Stay away from Jerry. Good hardcore advice. However, I am going to be doing hardcore season this year. So honestly, I have to be honest, I've not been very good at hardcore because, as people know, I tend to play fast and loose when I play. I am not like someone who thinks carefully and plans a lot when I play video games. I tend to be like, let's just push that button and see what happens kind of guy, you know? So I tend to run into my own issues of going too fast, trying too much, pushing myself. Oh, I'll be fine. You know, famous last words for me when it comes to hardcore. So the highest level character I have so far was, I know I hit level 10, but I can't remember if I hit like 11 or not. I think a 10 might have been actually my highest.
I think you got to 12 on somebody,
12?
didn't you?
It's so something like that. It was about 10 to 12 then that I got to, and that's the best I've been able to do. In general, if I don't do something stupid and wipe myself out before level, say I can usually do the first couple levels fine. Level 4 is fine. It's usually around the time I hit level 5, where I'm running level 3 quests on Elite, that I really start to do something dumb and perhaps wipe myself out. But we're going to see how it goes this year. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your personal opinion of it, word is, now this is not set in stone yet because I haven't written into the DDO.com/hardcore page, but the word is, at least the current thinking is, we are not going to be doing the ability to earn extra lives for this hardcore season. The goal for this hardcore season is, although we want to open it up to premium and free players, because we learned loud and clear with hardcore season 3 that the community is very interested in us doing that. So sorry, VIPs only, but we're going to have everyone coming in, but we're not doing the extra lives thing for this 4th season of hardcore. Whether we end up bringing it back for season 5, 6, 7, whatever, that's always a possibility. You know, we kind of want to shift it up to and including maybe how easy or difficult each season might be. We want to have a little flexibility there. But word is that we're not doing extra lives for the 4th season of hardcore, which means that when you do die, you're going to be going back to Korthos more often. And I guess I'd be curious to see what my fellow panelists feel about that. Did you like the extra lives? Do you want extra lives?
I do not want the extra lives. It's hardcore. I would rather die an honorable death than get what basically kind of feels like a cheat, personally. But I can see where people would want it, because you can also have, you know, something stupid cause a death. But yeah, personally, I'm a-okay with not having the extra lives.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty much the name of the game. That's the danger is what I'm going for.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair if I die for whatever reason.
So
I have to start over.
So the origin of the extra lives really came from a couple of things. One is to try to not cause that mega rage quit moment if you happen to die from a falling bug or just something stupid. Your mouse mixed up and now you're drowning in lava, whatever, right? So it is really about keeping you playing hardcore if you want to, rather than being like, oh my god, I can't do this again, and then bouncing away from the world, right? So that's the main point of offering the extra lives that you would earn by hitting levels 8 and 16, with the idea thinking that, okay, at level 16 you certainly have proven yourself able to run hardcore, and you probably aren't going to die. But if you were to run into an issue, is that level 16 player likely to reroll a level 1 and keep playing hardcore when looking at having to redo what they just did? And then let's compound that a couple of times on a couple of hardcore deaths, and we tended to find not surprisingly, that it had a fairly high rate of people saying, you know what, I think I'm done with hardcore for the season. And, our goal isn't to necessarily keep you on hardcore all season long either. We want you to be able to play as little or as much of it as you want to. But we kept on hearing from people about that bounce point, that pain point of, oh my God, I never want to see Korthos Island again. At this point, I'm good enough at hardcore that I'm not worried about getting to level 8 or whatever it might be. And instead, just, if I happen to do something stupid at level 8, I don't want to have to go back all the way to Korthos. So that was really kind of the impetus of it. That plus just, some general ideas of how harsh it would be and maybe making it a little easier for those who wanted to. A little more, so that those who were like, I would like to check out hardcore, but there's no way, I know myself, and there's no way I'm getting level 10 without dying, right? This gives you that one shot. But then, we had the other side of it where people were like, it feels a lot less hardcore to have 2 extra lives. Now, you have to get to level 16 first before you see that second life. So, let's be real, the vast majority of hardcore players never saw it, right? But for those who did, they kind of really just what you were saying there, even. It felt a little cheap. It felt a little lesser. And it felt like maybe they weren't being challenged to their utmost. So word is we're not going to do that. And then there's also a few words that I can't talk about. A couple other things that we have a couple of tricks up our sleeves. Well, we have one sleeve and we have a couple of tricks in there. And that's going to you're going to find that out when you start running around. So that I can't really tell anything more about. But yeah, so Mind Flayer Cosmetics. Are you down for Mind Flayer Cosmetics?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tentacles for everybody.
And what do you want
I want Mind Flayer Cosmetics in real life.
Actually, you don't. There is a Mind Flayer knitted cap that was made by Turbine back in the day, and we were going to use it at a convention. Some local person in Massachusetts was like, I can knit 40 masks for you for whatever amount of money that was. And they'd have these Mind Flayer tentacles, so you'd have the holes in the eyes like a regular kind of knit hooded mask or whatever, right? And then it would have these tentacles sitting out of it. But what we found, and it was even bright green, bright kind of yellow green, so you would have loved that even, but...
I've seen it. It is awesome.
It is creepy, is what it is. It is the creepiest looking thing that you can wear on your face. Trust me, you could be the nicest, sweetest looking person in real life, and you put on that mask and people are thinking you're a serial killer. It's the reality.
This is what makes it awesome.
We looked at it and we were like, oh my God, like the whole room was horrified. We're like, oh my God, how scary is that? And then it just kept on being scarier and scarier. So only 2 masks got made. I have one of them. And Tarrant, if you remember Tarrant from back in the day, he's got the other one. So, oh, and actually Kokomo Jobo's got one. So 3 masks were made. You're right. Because I've seen Kokomo Jobo with one too. Unless he ended up with Terrence. I don't know. But yeah, so what do you want for hardcore rewards? Are we doing the right thing with cloaks and mounts and the cosmetics? Or do you want raw power? Do you want raw rewards?
I mean, you know me, I am good with the cosmetics.
Well, how about you, Bonnie? What do you want? Do you like the cosmetic bent of it all, or should we be trying to give people like 5% attack speed, or I don't know,
a combination of things.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I'm like running out of space for cosmetics, so I tend to go for anything that that is like a tweak, or like what I like so much about the most recent event is that you could get more cookies.
That's true. You get a lot of cookies.
Because I basically wanted the pet and the augments and cookies, and then I was happy and fine, and didn't go for the cosmetics.
Ooh, augments would be a really cool idea if they were hard to
something that's especially appealing.
Yeah. Sorry, Even, what were you saying there? You cut it. You garbled that out.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that augments, especially augments that you could only get by reaching a certain plateau in hardcore, that would be a really great idea.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but how much would it upset people who didn't want to run a hardcore, right? So that's
Well,
Yeah,
generally why
right.
we've
make it
gone cosmetic only.
yeah, but if it
Yeah.
was like a small but nothing game breaking, but like maybe 1 or 2% attack speed, or 1 or 2% AC, or some dumb little thing, like some little minor thing. And as far as all the cosmetics, I don't think this is doable anytime in the near future. But if they could make some kind of a hardcore reward where you got like an actual closet of some sort for
Mm.
cosmetic storage, yeah, you'd have everyone running hardcore.
Cosmetic storage is something we have talked a lot about. We would love to be able to just flip a switch and give everyone unlimited cosmetic storage. Trust me, it would be good for everybody. Uh, I don't know what our ability to make progress there is, but I can tell you one of the things we've done, although it doesn't help with the short-term inventory spam issue, it at least helps you manage it, which is that with things like the hardcore rewards, it puts a little code essentially on your account so that whenever you log in, once you've claimed it, you're going to get this cloak. And then if you don't want that cloak on that character, you just destroy it. Or if you destroy it and then later want one, you just roll up a quick free character and then transfer the bound to account cosmetic over to the person you want it with. So at least you don't need to hang on to the cosmetic rewards once you've kind of claimed them. So that's at least something that we've done to make some progress there. But for sure, our cosmetic storage isn't bursting at the seams, as it were. So otherwise, I guess that's really about it, because I can't talk about the secrets of hardcore, and you're not seeing the Mind Flayer stuff. And I was hoping at one point to have some screenshots of the rewards and the reward tiers up on DDO.com hardcore this week, but we just didn't get it. It's just not ready yet. So hopefully this next week we can put up a little bit more information about what to get and where to get it. And so that'll be DDO.com hardcore. I'd mentioned we got the anniversary event. This is the final weekend of it. So that started, a little while ago now. But this runs through March 23rd. So again, runs through Tuesday, shut down on Wednesday morning when we bring our worlds down for the regular weekly restart or small patch or whatever we end up doing that week. Did you run the anniversary event, Even and Bonnie? And what'd you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always like how it gets tweaked a little bit every year, the quest itself.
Yep.
And so that's always nice to see what's different, what's changed, what's new here. And it was neat to see the little teasers for Salt Marsh on the table behind Melissia.
Yeah. Good, glad you caught that one there. Yeah.
That.
And then we got our Dretch Creature Companion finally, which I know Even is a long advocate for, so.
I'm honestly surprised that you didn't hear me squealing from miles away. And as luck would have it, I still had a number of tokens from last year. So I think we did 2 runs. I got my Dretch. And I will probably at some point between now and Tuesday night just go in there and do just a complete true flower sniff and run, check out all the NPCs and stuff like that. Maybe even stream it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But definitely want to do at least a couple more runs before it goes away for this year.
I have to admit that if there was one thing that I'm not sure we did right this year, although I understand why we did it, and that is with the new kind of party punch that's available. It allows you to do similar to what you can do during Crystal Cove and that, where you can run any quest to get the ingredients. And we gave everyone a free one as part of the weekly coupon when we debuted the anniversary event. So everyone basically had an hour to run through, Cobalt Assault, Butcher's Path, any kind of lobby quest or whatever they wanted to, if you wanted to do that, and just rake in the rewards. When I did it, and I'm pretty good at farming this stuff, I ended up being just slightly higher than average if I would have done a full group coordinated anniversary Zerg run over and over, right? Because if you get a group of 6 guildies together and run through the anniversary, split up, each take out a person, one person does the run, etc., you get it done in about 6 to 8 minutes, and so you're looking at about 6 to 8 runs per hour. About 6 to 8 runs per hour. And at 12 rewards per run, you just do the math there and figure you're in the range of upwards of up to maybe 120 party favors per hour Zerg the anniversary event. And when I did the kind of butcher's path thing, I ended up with 105, 106. So about the same, all said and done, in terms of the rewards you can get. But the one thing that meant is by the time I got the new Dretch for 80, and I got the new crown for, was that 80 or was that 40? I can't remember now. And then I had the anniversary cloak from the coupon, and I mostly had all the new stuff after just a couple hours of running that. So I have to admit, I didn't really need to run the anniversary event much this year. And I wonder how much we might be shooting ourselves in the foot in terms of being able to offer new interesting things in the anniversary event if everyone's just sitting on large piles of thousands of party favors and just stopping by the vendor quick every time we bring out new rewards. So I don't know.
I never have thousands, but
yeah.
I did like running the anniversary on servers where I haven't been running it in previous years.
Yeah.
Since it wasn't my main server, and being able to get enough fairly quickly to exchange for a couple items, and then to be able to go and do other quests as well, and not feel like I was needing to do the anniversary quest for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, and that's the flip side of the coin, is no one wants to feel like you have to grind through the anniversary event for weeks either, right? Mm-hmm. So, but us as gamers, we like to hoard, I think, more often than not. So there's kind of a natural tendency for us to end the anniversary event with another couple hundred party favors stashed in the bank. And in some ways that is briefly rewarding, because then the next year you're like, I got the new stuff, yay! So you get that kind of immediate gratification, but at the same time you're not really doing much. And so over time it can be really hard to support an event if ultimately what you're doing is just providing a couple of rewards for players with large stockpiles of ingredients, So I don't know if we got the balance right, I guess what I'm saying in terms of the numbers. I don't think that things need to be more expensive. And in general, the anniversary party, I think, has had a pretty good acquisition rate. And I guess the question is, it remains to be seen whether by offering the party favors, we're kind of short-circuiting our long-term goals there. So
that's actually a good point. Although I can always use more kobold sentient gems. So I may have to do a few Zerg runs to get a few more of those for more tunes.
That's a good point. As long as we do have a couple of big outliers like those kobold sentient gems that cost a lot, that helps a lot for that kind of thing as well. So maybe that ultimately is the answer, whether we like it or not, is some level of inflation as the community gets the rewards. But then you run into an issue of the haves and have-nots, right? Where people who haven't hoarded find themselves way behind the curve in terms of being able to start the process, right? So otherwise, I liked the rewards this year. I am the biased. I would also say that it was nice to see the 13 Eberron house cloaks brought into that reward issue. That's a case where everyone who was playing it for the 13th anniversary had an opportunity to pick up every one of the cloaks, because we did a coupon code per week for all of them. But in some cases, people had them on different servers, or they were gone that week, or they forgot, or whatever. And so it was nice to be able to get a complete collection now. And it's also nice nowadays, if you missed it and you just want a House Jarasco cloak or a House Galanda cloak, you can go and do that. So I'm glad to see those get added to the reward list.
Yeah, it's nice too for newer players who've come in to be able to access stuff that came before.
Yep.
And not miss out.
Yep. Otherwise, I would just mention, even when the anniversary event is done after next Tuesday, the free 15th anniversary coupon code for gifts will still be active. Happy 15 DDO, one per account, is eligible to be redeemed through December 31st. So you got all year to use Happy 15 DDO, but do it now. If you are an active DDO player, just take care of that thing, because there's nothing worse. Well, there are things worse, but it sucks as a community manager when I tune into the forums and say February of 2022, To see someone who's been playing all year long and didn't get the word out about Happy 15 DDO and didn't get the code and now is missing out and wishes they had their stuff, right? So do it now. Do it now. Happy 15 DDO. Redeem code in the DDO store. Tell your friends. Anyone want to say what they picked? For me, it was the Epic Quiver of Alacrity.
I think
I have not made a selection yet on anybody.
And what'd you say, Bonnie?
I think I picked something from Defiler of the Just from in every instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, before I kind of move on, I think we've gone through most of the news of the week, so we'll talk about a little bit more. But that's the big part of it, other than kind of news, sales, and community news. Let me ask one thing: if you were to provide advice as to, okay, I want to check out hardcore, what should I play? Do you have a suggestion as something to check out? Let me actually put. Can I put you on the spot, Bonnie?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you tell someone to play?
Answer, but you can put me on the spot.
Okay, well, maybe I'll break the ice by saying, here's my suggestion. This may not be the most optimal, but in my mind, I would go either Paladin or Cleric, and I would probably go Paladin. I would go pure Paladin, and I would focus a lot on armor class, strength, constitution, enough dexterity so that you're not failing all your saves. I am planning to go sword and board, two-handed fighting with a bastard sword of Kopesh. And I feel it's exceptionally important. Self-healing is number 1. Self-buffing is number 2. And being able to take a few hits is number 3. You have to be able to do those things. Traps, if you can't do traps, like most paladins won't be able to unless you splash rogue and whatever, you're going to be relying on hirelings for that. And that can be pretty scary when that hireling's behind you and you're inching up toward a trap and trying to have your hireling spot it. But that's how, that would be my, I guess, suggestion for role number 1 is just do a basic, heavily armored fighter type that can self-heal. So something like a paladin.
I think, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because I was really thinking self-healing first, but and Paladin's a great answer because melee at the lower levels is also very important, because while you could be so kind of caster and be a warforged, they don't really come into their own as much maybe until a few levels in.
Yeah.
So, but that self-healing, super, super important.
Yeah.
And the traps too. But are there hirelings? I can't remember. I thought at one point all the hirelings, the rogue hirelings were from this DDO store.
That might be.
Just for the vendors.
They still are, except for the epic ones.
Yeah. Okay. True. I'm speaking as the community manager. Buy those points and pick up those rogue hirelings if you need to. Or buy a friend, buy a real life friend, and then make them play as your rogue. Yeah.
Have a hardcore buddy. And
but for true though.
Or an artificer or somebody who can deal with those problems for you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like rogue and that is a really good choice for dealing with traps and evasion and all these other things. But I personally have found that I need that heavy armor and PRR and everything in order to get the job done and not die. So, good point though. Maybe the answer is who should you play is I don't know. Get a friend, and who are they playing? So maybe the actual answer is make sure you're running with one other person, huh?
Yeah, that was something that was nice because when I did hardcore seasons, I played more with other people than I usually do. Usually I'm soloing, and infrequently I'll play with friends. But most of my hardcore playing, I think I was playing with other people.
Yeah.
And having a chance to have different classes pick up the slack kind of in an old school way.
Yep.
That was more like when I first started playing DDO.
Yeah, having someone up front who can kind of tank grab the aggro and face plant a fireball while you've got someone who can handle traps and do some, distance attacks and whatever else CC and stuff behind you is maybe the best combo all said and done.
It does get really tough to do that like in any kind of a static group though, because it is hardcore. Say you get your static group to level 6 and somebody dies and they've got to work all the way back to 6, and you don't want to hold up the whole. Then you get to like level 8 or 9, somebody else dies.
Yeah, that
And
is
I
true.
just kind of bucked the trend. I would have thought paladin, and I had a paladin that did okay, but what I've had the most success with in hardcore is a dragonborn fighter, where I put all my points and stuff defense first and then offense. And that's what I've gotten to 20. I got to like 15 or 16 the first hardcore season, to 20 the second one. It's just what I've had luck with for some reason.
Yeah, that's real good. I found that I've been doing that myself, focusing a little more on armor class versus damage output earlier on than I might otherwise. Normally when I'm on the live world, you don't want to be a big tank who takes 30 minutes to kill an orc, right? But at the same time, I have been sacrificing a little bit of that DPS for more heavily armored stuff, especially early on in hardcore too. The other thing I would point out about hardcore is this is 3 months, so that'll mean any of the changes and things that come to the game between March 31st and June 29th will most likely hit hardcore. And that would include, almost certainly, Update 49, which is going to be a free adventure pack. We mentioned in the producer's letter, internally, and this is a huge IP illusion violation. This is not in any way, shape, or form meant to imply that we are attempting to borrow someone's IP or anything. But culturally, we're sort of thinking as the next pack is a little bit Indiana Jones-like. If you can kind of think a little bit of where our mindset is for Update 49. So we're trying to think of something a little more kind of adventure-y. Indiana Jones-like exploration adventure-y sort of thing for this next update. So that'll hit the hardcore world. We've mentioned publicly that we're doing bow changes, and that'll hit Lamania real soon. There was a time I thought it might even be next week, but I think it'll be within a couple weeks here. We're going to have the bow changes hit Lamania, and that is a big top-to-down overhaul of ranged bow combat in DDO. Sounds scary, should be good. You'll be seeing it, though, on Lamania first, and that's part of the reason we want to do that, is we want to have a big kind of, let's actually get all y'all on Lamania crunching things over and shooting things and telling us how it works and giving us numerical feedback, see how it aligns with their own data, etc., etc. So that'll be happening with a few weeks, but that also means that's going to be hitting, almost certainly that's going to be hitting during hardcore. So that may lead people to suddenly think about their bow characters and all that as well. So that should be something pretty interesting to check out.
I mean, we've already got the rolling boulders, and you're saying Indiana Jones, and I'm just imagining you're finally going to do Legendary Pit, and it's going to be filled with snake.
No, and we've already done
Fill it
rolling
with
boulders.
snakes.
We've already done the rolling boulder thing, and I like that section. But that kind of idea, that's sort of like the general headspace of the new adventure pack a little bit, if you can kind of picture it. So,
Yeah, I just want Legendary Pit and then just fill it up with snakes. Why does it have to be snakes?
Nice. All right. You are one of many DDO odds makers who help support the thriving multi-billion-dollar let's bet on your DDO characters industry. So, for the advice for all the investors out there, Bonniebew, what would you say the odds that you hit level 20 this hardcore season?
Like -1 to 3.
Okay, so it's a risky bet. It's a risky bet, but pays off very good.
You should not put your money on me to hit level 20.
You seem like a fairly safe
I'm
bet.
more cautious, and my list of things that I absolutely do not want to do on hardcore without an extra life token has grown in the past couple of months.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be more conservative this go around, but I'm hoping to get to the mid-teens maybe.
I think I'll probably be with you there. If I can beat last season's goal of getting to, I think you're right, level 12, and I can hit like 14 or 15, then slow, steady progress forward works for me, right? But,
If I can get through at least 2 quests with beholders, it's a win.
yeah. All right, so I myself am also a pretty risky bet. I'd say, the odds of 4 to 1. I'm going to say 4 to 1 against the odds of me hitting level 20. However, I'd say even you seem like the fairly safe bet here. You're the money market account.
I would never call anything a safe bet in hardcore. The other reason, real life is going to get much busier for me around the middle to end of May. Hardcore goes until June 30th. So I will probably not be playing much hardcore for the last month and a half of it. So that's going to definitely affect things. But I'm hoping to at least get, if I can hit 20, great. But I would say the odds are probably at least 10 to 1 against me.
Yeah.
But you're the only one who's gone to 20 before. So you're probably most likely to live.
That's what I was going to say. Most likely to succeed, ... even note.
Actually, I think I'm putting my money on Comic Relief because I believe he has hit 20 in every season so far. So
that's true. That's true.
To our guilty Comic Relief.
Yeah. Someone over in Twitch chat saying they died twice in the same place, the Titan raid, because the alchemist hurled pots at the pillars. Oh my god, Jeffrey, that is one amazing that you were willing to even try the Titan raid on hardcore.
I'm not sure I would have done that raid because of the pre-raid.
No way in heck. No way.
As much as I love the pre-raid, I don't think I would have done that on hardcore just because of the trickiness.
No way. I would be so dead if I tried that. There's no way. Yeah. But that's awesome though. I am sorry, however, you died twice in the same place because the alchemist hurled pots at the pillars, but also I like what
I would like to challenge Jerry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I would just like to challenge you to run Reaper 10 Terminal Delirium on hardcore.
That would be quite a funny 7 seconds of video. I would make it up the stairs, and then that's about what I'd do, I think. So, I actually did hear what Eve Writer said. Earlier on in Twitch chat, I was surprised by how emotionally hard death was on hardcore, but it taught me I don't need to carry so much stuff in my backpack. Can I say I agree? I'm pretty jaded and used to dying and don't generally find it to be a problem. And even when you die at level, say, 3 or 4 on hardcore, what have you really lost? Generally maybe a couple hours of gameplay, but you've learned a little bit along the way. But it hits hard, doesn't it? It hits way harder than you think. Or maybe it doesn't. For me, I was just like, oh. You have that moment, especially after your 2nd or 3rd death of the hardcore season, where you just sit there at your desk going, oh my god. Now you're so mad at yourself. Maybe you're mad at someone else. And you just feel just devastated. It's crushing, isn't it?
Yeah. I get emotionally attached to all my characters, so yes.
It was definitely more intense, yeah.
Nonetheless, success is also really amazing. And I can find myself to be like, before hardcore, I would die fairly regularly, say prior to level 8 on a character, just because I was feeling lazy and who cares. A lot of that seems to have gone away with the hardcore practice I've done. I found myself dying less overall and being a better player because of the hardcore running that I've done. All right. Let me just head through the community spotlights. High Lords Malkir today are doing their teaching raid, so a little late now. However, there's a forum thread where they're doing all your teaching raids, so if you want to learn Dryden the Demigod, or Vaulted Knight, or Titan, or any of them, and you don't mind going to Sarlona for it, or you're on Sarlona, check out the High Lords of Malkir. They do a lot of weekly Saturday teaching raids, and it's a really good way to learn the raids that you can then bring back to your guild or group of friends and run. Otherwise, I would mention that this upcoming Tuesday, I think that's Tuesday. No, this upcoming Monday, March 22nd, Strimtom. That's twitch.tv/Strimtom. He is doing some theory crafting with one of our own systems designers. That would be Linabel. And Linabel is going to be working with Strimtom to kind of think practically about how you would actually build in DDO a theory crafted enhancement tree. So the StreamTom, as I understand, it's been doing some polls and kind of polling of the audience, and then they're going to take the results, and StreamTom and Lunabelle are going to work together to put together really kind of some kind of enhancement tree. Now, this is not going to be something that hits the live game worlds. This is explicitly as part of the "Can I do this?" That Lunabelle had to go through before doing this. The answer is no. We cannot bring this to the live game worlds. But you never know, right? In terms of kind of some of the learnings and all that sort of thing. And nonetheless, it's going to be a kind of an informed theory crafting session. So it might be pretty interesting for those of you who are interested in doing that. So twitch.tv/StrimTom. That'll be on Monday, March 22nd. I don't know exactly when StrimTom goes on the air, but I'm sure if you head on over to his Twitch or Twitter, you'll find that out. Otherwise, I just mentioned tonight, shout out to Bard Life. That is Doug Glendower's show on DDO Stream. You can also find him on Doug Glendower on Twitch. But tonight, 8 p.m., twitch.tv/DDO Stream, 4-year celebration of Bard Life. And that includes a bunch of giveaways of DDO points codes, trivia, and things like that. So if you got nothing else going on tonight, you want to hang out, maybe score some DDO points, go on over to twitch.tv/DDO Stream tonight, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, I just mentioned that DDO Players News has had a couple of weeks off. They have been putting in some D&D related content, but don't have anything DDO to share. DDOcast went through the latest game update on DDOcast.com. We have Voodoo Spice over on YouTube and Twitch, who has graciously decided to do a Monday morning coffee and chat show over on twitch.tv/DDO Stream. So if you want to kind of kick off your week with a cup of coffee and hanging out with Voodoo talking DDO in a very kind of casual, fun way. Yeah, if you've ever watched any of Voodoo's content, you'll know that it's the perfect kind of mix of hangout and crunch and all the rest. So that'll be happening on DDO Stream, and that's Monday mornings, I believe around 9 to noon. Aldebar has put together a solo walkthrough guide for the Dreaming Dark on YouTube. And Druid's Fire recently did a video series on her YouTube playlist channel for all the quests and fables of the Feywild, kind of walkthroughs on that one. And quick sales note, we have Autos boxes back as of this past Thursday, and they're going to be available through March 28th. So it'll be both heroic or all epic, heroic, and improved autos in the DDO store through March 28th. And otherwise, our weekly sale is Rise again with select reincarnation items, healing items, spell point potions, and quest elixirs through the 21st. Particularly some of the stuff in the reincarnation category may be of interest to you, and if you're like me, then you like to stock up on those spell point potions occasionally, and this is the best chance to do that as well. Otherwise, the freebie this week rocks, and that is the weekly coupon, free Bell of Opening, music to my ears, or if you prefer, music Tom years. And that's through March 25th. And that's really all I got. I don't know. Do you guys have anything you want to bring up or mention? No. All right, so let's do a little promo here. Bonnie, as part of the Bonniebew corporate empire, where would you like to direct the masses?
Not the most people could find out about me is either follow me on Twitter, which is probably just a bunch of stuff about cats. Mm-hmm. and maybe DDO and nonsense, or my tabletop and some really old DDO videos are on my channel on YouTube at YouTube, the Bonniebew channel.
All right, and where would Evennote Incorporated like to direct the audience?
Well, the follow-up to Kobold Kindergarten is going to be called Raiders of the Lost Yark. And that's going to be starting next Tuesday. It's going to be run from 8 p.m. until probably 9:30, 10. There'll be short sessions. That'll start on the last Tuesday of this month, and then second and fourth Tuesdays thereafter at twitch.tv/koboldeven. I'm debating returning to DDO stream. I haven't decided yet. I'm waffling. And I'm also on Twitter as Evennote. And yeah, you should follow Bonnie because she does post adorable cat pictures.
Well, I'm going to guess that our DDO stream audience likes waffles, so you should consider it.
Pro waffling.
Yeah, we are very pro waffle here. Otherwise, MockDuck LLC would direct you to twitch.tv/MockDuck. That's my personal channel. But honestly, I haven't been doing a lot of streaming of video games and that sort of thing lately. I'm kind of off Twitch at the moment, personally, in my life. I've been doing some YouTube videos, but it's totally not related to DDO. So if you like old retro Atari and junk like that, you can check out youtube.com/MockDuckPlaysGames. Otherwise, I would just mention my personal Twitter feed is twitter.com/Jerry Snook. And on the corporate side, the actual corporate side, I would mention that you can find out more about Dungeons & Dragons Online by going to DDO.com. Sign up for a free account. You don't need a credit card. If you're hearing this, you probably already know that. And you can find us on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons, no ampersand, spell it out, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and back to Patrick.